Hey guys, what's up? So you see, I did some trail maintenance the other day, and I cut this log right here. It took me about 25 minutes to make this cut, and when I did, this didn't even fall. It just stayed stuck to it, like I couldn't even get it. It slowly fell. So my bow saw has got a really dull blade, and I've been really getting into going down to cutting stuff on, like non-chainsaw cutting stuff on YouTube, and this Nordic pocket saw, or like the sort of hand chainsaw thing, seems really popular, and it's cheap too. It's like, I think I paid like $15 or less for this thing. So it's just a saw, like a chain, like that would be on a chainsaw, except for it's got two handles on the end. So it seems like in videos they cut through something like this in like a minute or two instead of 25 minutes. So I'm gonna pick a spot here. We'll go right here and we'll see if we can cut through it. How fast? Oh, I'm getting stuck. I'm stuck again. Oh, look at it go now. Stuck.
I think the key is not to stop if you can help it.
So I realized I didn't oil the chain, and you're supposed to oil these chains before you use them. So it had a little bit of oil maybe from the factory, but it should have been oiled first. But more importantly, it definitely works great as a team tool like this. You can go through the log, you can cut a lot of wood. I was doing most of the cutting. I told Shauna just to kind of easily pull it back, and I would try to tug more upwards and do more cutting, and it worked really well. But she doesn't have a great back, and she didn't want to take the risk of hurting her back. So I'd switch back and try to do it myself, and I'd get stuck again. So we ended up doing most of this tree as a team and getting pretty far through it.
Okay guys, either the chain, the Nordic chain, saw chain, whatever this piece of crap is, either it just really sucks, or I don't know how to use it, or I didn't oil it good enough, or I thought it was oiled when I got it. It gets stuck pretty much. The only way it's worked is two people using it, because then it keeps it in a straight line. But otherwise it just gets hung in the wood, and it gets hung on, it doesn't matter the size, big, little, whatever size, it gets hung. And once it's hung, then it's a huge pain in the butt that you gotta, like, hard to get out. So I've been working on this limb here for 15 minutes, trying different places. And like, I almost got it all the way through here, and then it's stuck, and I just cannot get it to finish. So I've tried going really wide angle, like, but once it gets so deep, it's just kind of like, it's just stuck. And my back's killing me now. It's a hell of a workout. So I've oiled it now. I want to see if that makes a difference. I brought home a stick. This is a pretty easy. This should cut really easy, I think. Wouldn't you think? This should cut easy, Shondo?
Sure, I think so.
I can figure out how to make it not move around. Oh, wow. That does make a difference. It's a lot. Definitely not getting stuck like it was. Like I can just, it slides now.
What kind of oil did you use?
I just use like WD-40.
Oh, okay. You think that was the problem?
I think that was the problem. Yeah, that was about 1,000 times easier. Now that was a small stick, but it was getting cut. It was getting stuck on even smaller sticks. And so maybe that was the problem. Okay, maybe I'm not sending it back. Maybe I need to go back to the woods with a can of oil when I use this.
So I couldn't stand it. I had to go back out and actually find out if the problem was the fact that the saw wasn't oiled. Now I went back to this branch that I struggled with, and you might notice that right by my legs there, I had cut way over halfway through this branch already, and I missed the one that I'd cut halfway through and start on one that was probably like a quarter of the way through. And so I cut for about 5 minutes, and I was able to cut through it enough where I could break it. So my final thoughts on this tool is that this would be a really, really handy tool to toss to get really good and oily, put in a little plastic bag and put in your Camelback, or carry it anytime, you know, you go on a ride where you think you might need to cut a tree if you're a cyclist. Or it'd be a handy tool to have just packed in somewhere where, you know, you might need to cut a branch. It takes up very little room. It's very light. The problem is if you actually really need to cut, it's not so good. Like if your goal is really to cut. I think I could get better with it. You can see in my form, I'm not pulling straight. Like I'm pulling it at an angle. So there's some mistakes I made. It's a great workout. Like if your goal is just to get stronger and get fitter, you know, if you're doing this as part of like, you know, if you know, that'd be great. As far as like replacing a chainsaw, it's no replacement for a chainsaw. But if you were on like a group ride with, you know, some other guys and you need to cut a limb, 2 people can cut through a pretty large tree limb with this thing pretty fast, impressively fast. And then as, you know, they got tired, it could be switched out to other people. So this isn't trash. It's just not, you know, don't expect it to be wonderful. Now, one other question I have is mine bad? Because I bought a $15 one on Amazon as opposed to the name brand Nordic one, which I have no doubt that probably the $30 Nordic one's better, but I don't know how much better it could be. Maybe a little higher quality blades, maybe a little sharper, but I think they're more or less the same thing. Now, this is tough. You're not going to break it. It's a tough tool. This $15 one or $12 one or something I got from Amazon stuff. But as far as like, you know, it's not as great as I expected. I think a lot of people on YouTube will show you cutting through trees with this thing. Like softwood, like soft pine, it'd probably chew through something soft. But on the hardwood we have here, even half-dead hardwood, it really didn't just chew through it. I mean, it was a lot of effort, a lot of work. This is chainsaw stuff, really. So as for me, definitely going to hang on to it and keep it in my back bag, but definitely going to look for something with some motor to help for future trail clearing. All right, see you guys later.